All right, you guys, let's talk customer service.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad that they don't salute you. I need a bag.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keely Trishan, and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, working a 9-to-5, and mental health. I also make vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with a small child, all the things. If that's something that interests you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for your support. Okay, so customer service. Customer service can be tricky, and hitting those metrics can be even trickier, especially if you work in a very high stress industry. As y'all know, I work in insurance and I am an adjuster, but this goes for people that work in healthcare. This goes for people that work in finance, anything that can stress folks out. And when folks are stressed out, you're stressed out. So sometimes it can be tough to meet those metrics when you're working in industries like that, but I have some ways that have helped me to hit my customer service goals almost every time. So if you're interested, definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so first things first, it's important to understand the why behind your customer's frustration. In these tough industries, a lot of times your customers are coming to you already pissed off and frustrated, or something during the process has frustrated them. Me working in insurance, being an adjuster, when my customers come to me, I'm talking to them because there is a problem in their home, whether that is a fire, whether that's a plumbing leak, something is going wrong in their world. It's frustrating, it's inconvenient, and that has nothing to do with me, but it doesn't mean that this person may or may not take that frustration out on me. Me understanding that it's not me helps me to better navigate the conversation, spin it back, get us back on track so we can talk about the subject at hand, and just kind of keep those things in mind and make sure that I empathize with them and not take it personally so we can have a better communication. To kind of piggyback on that, it's important to acknowledge their concerns because they do have a reasonable concern. Acknowledge their concerns and allow people to vent. I'm not saying to let that take over the whole conversation, but a lot of times people just want to be heard, and you might be the only person that's listening to them or the only person that they have access to, and you listening to them can really go a long way. Before starting your conversation, try using the CALM method. C stands for center yourself before responding. Take a deep breath and lower your tone. A stands for acknowledge their concern. I can see why you'd feel frustrated. L stands for lead with clarity. This means to break things down simply with no jargon. And finally, M stands for move towards a solution. Tell them exactly what happens next. One thing that trips up a lot of people in customer service, especially in these tough industries, is not being transparent from the start. And I'm not saying that people lie or anything like that, but sometimes people avoid tough topics so they can avoid confrontation. This does not help you in the long run, because if you know something and you have the information to get to the customer, it's better to rip off that Band-Aid in the very beginning. You really want to give customers the next steps in everything. Let them know what you can do and what you cannot do. And if it's something that you can't do, you want to make sure that you are open about that. Tell them, hey, the policy covers this, the policy does not cover this, but because of that, I can do this for you. Try to find ways to help the customer, but make sure that you're being direct, not mean, not aggressive, but be direct in your communication. Even if they're not happy at the get-go, most people do appreciate having all the information up front so they can make better and informed decisions throughout their process and in whatever industry. If you're not already, you need to get really good with your documentation. Now, I don't know if every industry requires documentation, but a lot of the industries that I've worked in do require that. So every interaction with your customer is going to require you to type into your system saying what happened. You want to be transparent in what happened, but you want to make sure that you leave your opinions out of it. I do plan on doing a video where I can show sample notes for different instances in my industry. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know and I'll film it sooner. But documentation can save you in so many ways. So you want to make sure that you document tones, make sure that you document what was discussed, even things that you may not think are important. Customers are really impressed when you have a conversation and they don't have to recap everything on every conversation. It almost makes it feel as if you are a friend in a way, and I might be kind of overusing that statement, but with my customers, I try to remember like certain details and certain nuances. Like if they had an issue with a particular estimate, or if they had an issue with a particular vendor, I try to bring that up in conversation just to let them know that, hey, I was listening and this is what I'm doing to rectify the situation. It's going to be impossible for you to remember everything and every interaction just off the top of your head. So documentation helps not only you, it helps your management, it helps the company, and also it could ultimately help your customer service scores because you inadvertently know what you're talking about because you've made sure to document everything. It's very important to know when to escalate a situation. This is something that I feel like I've mastered over the years. Whenever I'm having a situation with a customer that I feel like might go south or might go to litigation, or they might get an attorney, public adjuster, something of the sort, or they might escalate a complaint within the company, I will let my management know right away. Maybe there's something that we can do to prevent that. Maybe there is something that we missed. I try to get additional eyes on it, particularly like in leadership or training, to have them just review everything. Although I feel like I'm good, sometimes there are things that I may miss. So once you see that there may be a problem, even after you've been super nice and even after you have tried to help the customer to the best of your ability, you're not going to be able to take care of everything. So know when you need to tag in help. That really helps because that could actually save your customer service score if the customer sees that you went above and beyond to help them and got the needed reinforcements involved. Okay, so if you work in one of these tough industries and your customer service scores are being measured, it is very important to build emotional endurance. The way that I tend to do that, and the way I would suggest you do that, be very intentional when you have these difficult conversations and when you have difficult email correspondence, difficult customers, all of that. You can't do and be everything for everybody if you're not taking care of yourself. So take breaks in between those difficult calls. I like to have difficult calls, especially if I have to deny something. I like to do that in the beginning of the day so I can just kind of get it off of my desk and, move forward so my whole day doesn't go to shit. There are times where that's not possible. There are times where someone may call you and there's a fire that you need to put out, no pun intended. In situations like that, like it does not hurt to step away from your desk, take a short walk after a call, or, let the person know, do as much as you can, and then let the person know, hey, we're going to come back to this. Let's schedule a time to talk. So then that way you can kind of get your mind in the game. The worst thing to do is to have a conversation with someone that's already frustrated and that's already, going through a bad time, and then you meet them with the same energy. People do remember that. And I'm not saying that it's okay for people to talk to you any type of way or for people to, take out their frustrations on you. But in these industries, you are expected to be the professional and you're expected to be the one to keep a level head. So if you do feel yourself getting to a point where, things are getting a little emotionally heated and you feel like you might, step out of character. I've had that situation before, as I'm sure we all have. It's okay to, step away or continue the conversation at a later date when both parties are calm, or at least you're calm, so you can control the outcome. A really big opportunity that a lot of people miss is to follow up with your customers, even when they don't expect it. I try to set this expectation at the very beginning of the claim. I let them know my office hours. I let them know when to expect follow-ups from me, and if they need to reach me in between time, how they can reach me and what to do if I don't answer, or, whatever. It's usually something I'm in the office from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Leave me a message. I'll return your call as soon as possible. I do not over-promise and under-deliver. That is a big, big thing. You want to make sure that you are only promising what you can actually do. When it comes to follow-ups, people don't realize how effective a simple follow-up can be. Even if you can't make a phone call, just checking in, sending an email and say, hey, I haven't forgot about you on X, Y, and Z. I'm still waiting for the vendor to respond with their, resolution or recommendation. I followed up with them on this date, and I'll follow up again on this date if I don't receive a response. Things like that give people peace of mind. Let them know that they haven't been forgotten and that you are still actively working to resolve whatever issue they have. I do try to keep up with my regular updates. There are times where I may fall short, and if I say I'm going to call somebody, maybe I don't have a chance to pick up the phone, but I will send a quick text. I will send an email. And also I let people know, hey, if you need to get in touch with me like right away, and I'm not able to get to the phone, you can text my work cell phone or you can email me, and I'm usually a bit quicker to get back to you on those forms of communication. So there are a few things that you can do with that, but make sure that you follow up when you say you're going to follow up. And if you have an update or just, you realize that you haven't talked to the customer in a bit, send them a quick message, whether that is via voicemail, email, text message, just to let them know that you haven't forgot and the claim or situation is still moving along. Now, if you want to add a little razzle dazzle to your customer service scores and make sure that you're getting the best possible outcome on those surveys, use survey-friendly language when you're talking to them. Say things like, I want to make sure that you feel supported throughout this process. I want to make this process as easy for you as possible. Use me as a resource, like things like that. A lot of surveys kind of have the same types of language, and they'll ask the customer, did you feel supported? Did you have to escalate your complaint? Things like that. So you want to make sure that you drop in some of those gems, and as long as you don't sound scripted, that's the last thing you want to do. Make sure that it's natural for you. But when you start saying things like that, when the customer does get that survey, they'll think back. Make sure. If you're saying, I want to make sure that you feel supported, make sure that you're actually supporting them. If you're saying, use me as a resource, make sure that you're actually being a resource. So when they get those customer service surveys, they think back to those interactions and they give you the best scores possible. Like, customer service is not rocket science. It really is just human behavior and like paying attention to the things that people want. Like, you want to make people feel seen, you want to make people feel supported, and you want to actually back that up with action. Think about how you'd want to be treated in the same situation, and if you do that, then usually you're going to have a good outcome. Last but not least, you want to end every interaction with a warm and confident close, saying things like, thank you for making the time to speak with me today. I'll follow up with you on X date about ABC. Something of the sort. Lets them know, like, hey, I appreciate your time and I am committed to getting whatever it is resolved so we can move this situation forward. People like that reassurance, and they like to know that even though you have a lot of case files or, whatever it's called in your industry, that they are still a priority. It goes a long way. Even if you don't really mean it, I mean, you should mean it, especially if you're in that type of industry, because people can kind of sense inauthentic people. But you definitely want to make sure that you make people feel like a priority. You make people feel like their situation is important and that they're not just a bother, they're not just a number. Those things really, really go a long way in making sure that you get the best scores possible. All right, you guys, so that is all I have for you today. So in closing, we know that customer service is hard. You are going to have people that are going to make you want to throw your laptop, that are going to make you want to smash your phone. But it is important, especially if you work in these very tough industries, that you understand kind of where they're coming from. Not saying that their behavior is warranted, but when you understand the why behind it, it makes it easier to navigate the situation, to calm them down, and to just make sure that you do what you need to do so you don't add any unnecessary stress and make the situation worse. Also, in regards to your customer service scores, people really just want to feel heard. They want clarity and transparency, and they just want to make sure that their situation is taken care of. If you can do those things, you will get great scores. If you enjoyed this video and if this information helped you, please go on ahead and click that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, lets me know that you like videos like this. If you made it this far and have not subscribed, please go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never knew you.